Hey guys, Silk here again, and we're coming with an episode today that's going to bring you a few new tips and tricks for those recently onboarding, mostly from Rise to War. And we've got a slightly different background screen here today, and that's simply because the Revolving games are doing a little bit of a giveaway for War of Nova, and if we get enough people registered online with them, then they're going to start giving us away a few officers. How do we do this? We go to warofnova.com and we will access a screen whereby in the top right hand corner you'll get a register or sign in box up the top here, and that will then bring up this screen here. And before I go in and hit account settings, which is the thing that we need to be looking at, let's just have a quick look through at what we might be getting. As I scroll down here, we'll see that just coming up at the bottom of the screen we've got some total referrals and rewards. If we hit the number of referrals in here, and that actually just means hanging into the account settings and putting in a certain code, then we will start getting some officers. We'll have a quick look at those in a short while, but first of all I'm just going to reduce myself down in size before we go in there. Skillfully placed so that when my account settings come up you don't get to see my details. And here we go, we click account settings and we're in here, and we are going to put in the referral code join_Nova. You'll see this advertised in a couple of the discords. I'll come on to that in a minute, but just note here that for your account settings you can put in your Google, your Apple IDs, you can link in your Discord, and equally down here at the bottom here, if you're wondering what this little symbol here is, that's for connecting a crypto wallet. Personally I'm using MetaMask at the moment. The reasons for doing this hang over to season 1 where we were able to win tokens, and I believe that's a new thing that's coming for season 3 for those that are interested. It was fairly simple, straightforward process to set up the wallet and then link it in. I'm sure there's more information in Revolving Games Discord around that, the actual official Discord rather than the standalone War of Nova one. So if you come in here, get that referral code in there. The more of us that get that, the merrier, because we can get, what have we got, 100. That should be easy to get. We are getting 1, 2, we've got 3 blue officers on offer, and if we get over 1250 we get these 2 epic officers here. That's nothing to be sniffed at, it's free of charge. Get your mates in, get them to write in that join_Nova. Hey, get them into my channel if you could, I'd appreciate that too. Need to push that a bit. And these 2 officers, that's kind of important because I think these come up in the battle pass as well, so you've got a chance for building them up and getting augmentations on those as well. So yeah, hit that in, warofnova.com, register or sign up. Go into account settings, join_Nova, and that'll do what we need it to do. Now I mentioned the various discords available, and just going to move myself up out the way now. We've got, first up we've got the Revolving Games Discord, and in there we can see this Nova announcement here. We're launching Nova social campaign. We've got 14 days to get those referral codes in. Existing players can do it too. I did notice that the previous referral code I had in there had been deleted, so those have been removed. That was a sort of hangover for originally for the people on X who were promoting the game. That probably didn't go as well as they hoped. Just one other thing I want to bring up while we're here is we've got an announcement out that the game is being translated into multiple major languages: French, Italian, German, Spanish, Korean and Japanese, more to follow. My Ukrainian friends out there, believe me, I have pushed for that. Hopefully that's going to go on the list as well. I've seen 1 or 2 other requests. I know they're working on that. This tablet and iPad support, bringing smoother gameplay, they're working on that. That's been pushed out to the support team rather than the direct Nova team to be worked on. I pointed out to them probably literally only a day before all the Rise to War people were onboarding that it's probably about 20-25% of certainly of my friends in game want to play on tablet, and a lot of them have tried Nova already but didn't want to play on BlueStacks. They wanted it on the go, and the phone was too small. And if you're an old git like me, then yeah, you know, you've got problems with your eyes. I can't play it on my phone at all. I'm buggered for that one. So I play on BlueStacks. That works very well. A few people have had problems. Just adjust your settings, I guess. Make sure you got the most up-to-date version. I think there's a few out there on Moo, although it's had its problems. So there's various ways to play, but yeah, God, oh my God, having it on my tablet, that's going to be a godsend personally. And there are large groups of Rise to War players out there where some of the prime movers in those groups might be playing on tablet, and nobody wants to come because, you know, a fifth or a quarter of their players are not able to play the game how they want to. So that's one thing that's been really good. That's been literally within a day of actually really pushing hard with one of the dev team on that. They pushed it through to support, and kudos to them. The other thing to point out is we've also got this other War of Nova Discord. You'll have to look this one up, and I'm just going to check the settings, make sure that's come up. Hasn't come in yet, so just bear with me one sec while I fiddle with something here on OBS. Right, we've managed to pull that one up. A bit of an OBS noob, and this is the War of Nova Discord server. If you want to join this one, let's just bring up the invites. I've got friends there. Okay, server invites hidden on this, so you're going to have to search for that manually, it looks like. Either way, this has got a lot of the same staff and admin in here. We've got a few extras running the place, and it's been really good. It's Nova specific. There's not a lot of the crypto side of things in here. This is I don't know if this is official or not, but there do seem to be a lot of the Revolving Games team in there, and this is kind of where it's really all happening. Down the bottom here, we've got the Strikecraft and Capital Ships library. There's some build discussion things going on here. Video streams, guides, other resources. So this is a really useful place to come to, and there's generally a lot of chat going on in there. So look that one up. You might be able to find a link to that elsewhere, hopefully in the Revolving Games Discord server. And with that all done, let's hop into the game itself, see what's going on at the moment. Got a few things I want to cover off here. We've looked at sort of tablets, languages, Discord, joining Nova. I suppose the next thing is a lot of people are asking, what are the solid PvP teams here, or ships here, and how do we load them out? The honest answer is, whilst there are a few that stand out at the moment, that's all likely to change, and it has certainly over the course of the last few months. We used to have Moonveil, used to be crucifying everything. Now it seems that a Dominus at mastery level 3 or 5, which is beyond many players' means right now, seems to be the primary ship that seems to be doing really well. And I'll just see if I can find out. I don't have one here myself, and we go in here. Its base stats, its initiative's quite high, it's got great stats, but it's really the skills. First 4 rounds, chance to inflict stun. Close range Strikecraft, recover 6 hit points each round. So 6%, sorry, each round, so that'll go up to 60. Chance of recovering hit points after dealing damage, that's already pretty good. So nothing spectacular here in terms of dealing out the damage. It very much is Strikecraft based damage going out, but when we move up to mastery level 3, what are we getting here? Reducing the damage and its effect modified by elemental stat on the opponent. That's huge. Standard damage received each round against 2, chance of causing confusion. Those are fantastic. It's phenomenal, all in the same ship. And then just sort of the icing on the top, really. Capital ship normal attack damage going up to what, plus 60% is that in total by the time we're done. That's huge for the entire game. That's not round or turn limited. And in the first 3 rounds, all allied Strikecraft damage dealt, that's going up plus, I don't know what that will improve by, but plus 15% is level 1, modified by leadership. That's massive. It's easy, and a chance to follow up with long range Strikecraft. It's easy to see why this is dominating at the moment, excuse the pun. So what else is good? The Corruptor is everybody needs a Corruptor basically. the Corruptor comes into its own simply because of this skill here, Chaos Agent. The enemy capital ship inflict confusion and minus 50 leadership on 3 of these rounds. That's where it's good. It comes into its own really at M3, where you're recovering some hit points. You get extra leadership, and you've got a chance to evade damage. Going on up to 5, you've got a chance to inflict stun on the enemy capital ship as well. Not sure why you'd want to stun it when you're using it to hit its own Strikecraft with that confusion. So basically, if you can hang out the first sort of 3 rounds and dish out some damage as well during it, so you've got this bonus here, then you in with a really good chance of actually using a really solid opponent to hit itself. You're kind of playing against the strength of that. And I think I just actually saw this in action a little bit earlier in one of these. I'd left one corruptor just sitting out on a tile where I was building a fort overnight, and along came this level 50 cipher against my corruptor. Near my corruptor here, my officers they're okay, they're not fantastic. And we have a look here, and we're looking at all these gold stars and fully augmented. That's a pretty decent result for my low level spin overall. Yeah, I probably got creamed on the next one, yeah, for sure, by a celestial of all things. But there we go. So corruptor, there's a place for everyone. Everyone needs a place for that. If you happen to get it, work on it. It's a little hard to level up. Initially you're going to take some losses, but when you get there, that thing's dishing out the damage. And as we've just seen from this previous report, Cypher is doing amazingly well in PvP at the moment. It's a little bit bugged. Some of its abilities, or 2 at least of its abilities, are operating at double strength, and that's kind of giving some really huge results for it. But it'll still be a really decent ship once those things are fixed. We see some... what do we see? Astaroths around, plenty of widows, overlords. I'm personally using those. Sunder here, that's the PvE god. We mentioned that in the previous video. Machina is also seen a lot. Machina's fantastic. It dishes out some confusion. Honestly, the confusion and stuns have really come back into their own in this game if you've come from Rise to War. It's superb. For me personally, at the moment, I'm just having a little pet project here with the Omnis and having a look around and playing with that, because on paper it looks good. Unfortunately, in action, it's not doing quite so well, and that's due to a few skill bugs in there not doing what they say they do. It actually gives a decent bonus, but it's not actually the skill that's described. So I'm just having a little play with that. Paladin and a couple of other ships are really only going to come into their own when a lot of the other sort of bugs are fixed and strike craft are basically rebalanced. The Paladin here looks great on paper. We've got this Vanguard strike craft, 75% chance to evade all damage. The problem there is the Morning Star, which is the big tank in the Vanguard range, both its skills are broken and don't work. I think one of them actually goes off maybe once when it's supposed to last for 2 rounds. The other one's not effective at all. And the rest of the Vanguard Strikecraft really aren't worth fielding, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully those Strikecraft get rebalanced soon. Hammerhead suffers from the same thing. You can kind of run it with the medium units that it's set up for, but again, there aren't any medium units or medium Strikecraft in the game that aren't either bugged or fairly useless, to be quite honest. And even on the Hammerhead, it makes it kind of above average, but nowhere near as good as it ought to be, and as its stats and its abilities suggest. Star Weaver again is looking like it might be good for some early PvE. It's got these fantastic heals here. It's good for PvE, but again, the real problem with it good for PvE, I think, but the real problem in PvP is the minute you hit a strike craft that negates your ability to heal, then you're a bit stuffed really, because everything here is based on healing. And then up here we've got some additional energy damage from the capital ship. A few of us have been playing around with this, and actually you can get some fairly extreme hits in with this against the environment. But if you're playing in PvP and you come up against someone who's got a fully augmented gold starred officer that reduces energy damage by 60%, then your Star Weaver here is dead in the water. Obviously you wouldn't send it in against that if you had the choice. It's looking promising, but I think there's a few tweaks on that to do. What else have we got that's good? Radiant. We need Radiant because Radiant has plus 15 siege damage. We've mentioned this before. We'll keep going on about it in case anyone's missed the point. It's actually not too bad as an early PvE ship as well. It's got some healing in there. It does some good damage on turn 1, and going first is king in this game. Initiative is king, and really you want, if if you want to win, you want to be going first every time in a like for like battle. So it's similar in that respect to Rise to War. But what you do find is that if you're a bit outgunned and you're at a slightly lower levels than someone else and you get initiative, that can actually be the difference, and that's really what we want to see. I also want to have a quick look at the chat channels here, and there are a few things in here that we want to look at. I'll have a scroll through it in a sec just for fun. But the guild channel announcements, we're going to be able to put announcements in here as officers fairly soon without having to attach them to a guild pin. If you haven't quite worked out yet and you're running a guild, the only way to get an announcement up here is by placing a guild pin. So if you want to get a message out to your group, then just head to your own station, stick a guild pin on your own station as a dummy one. You can write an announcement and then get rid of the guild pin. The announcement will still stay up there. So that's a workaround for that problem with the guild announcements. But please, I mean, I think the devs are already well aware that we want the ability to add in a few extra channels ourselves, and that we also want to be able to use this announcements one here to just put out a general announcement without attaching it to a pin. So they're all well aware of that. There's a huge amount of things that this poor old dev team have got on their plate to do, and once they've actually sorted out stress testing the back end of this and integrating some of the sort of crypto stuff in the background for those that are interested in it, I think we'll start seeing some major works done on the things we're asking for, like emojis. Oh my world for an emoji. Yeah, and everyone's crying out for them too. Wouldn't it be so nice if you didn't have to just sort of put in things like a colon and a P, and you could actually, you know, just stick your tongue out at someone, things like that. That would be so much nicer. I'm not sure what else have we got going on in here. I want to have a quick look at a couple of those battle reports that have come up. Oh, selling my account. Someone's actually severely taking the mick out of someone else there. So 565 epic officers. Why is that? Ah, Chucky. Poor old Chucky's trying to sell his account, guys. Somebody help him out here. He's even getting a lot of grief I think in the Discord channels, and he seems to be going off on it in here and having a pop at someone he thinks is in his server, who I know is not, because actually I think I know the guy who was actually having a bit of a row with in one of the other Discords. But, you know, I'm fairly sure it's against the terms of service, so it's no wonder he's getting a bit of grief in there. What else have we got? We've asked for the channels. What else do we need to know? Quick one before we shoot off. One of the amazing things about this game that they've changed, I really like it personally, and it brings an element of strategy in. You see these little islands around the outside here. We can actually see this function of the game in action. If you lose all of your spawn regions, you have no other regions whatsoever, and somebody relocates you, they are going to relocate. You are going to get relocated out to this island here. Now, there's good and there's bad in this. These here crossings are one way only, so nobody can chase you out to this area. You are now safe, and you have just opened up an entirely new resource zone, because even if you had started as Terra here, you could not get into this island. The only way here is to be relocated into it. So if you're standing there wondering why you can't get across to these crossings, that's the reason why. They are designed for later game if you've been invaded, lost all your territory, and you need somewhere to pick up resource. Equally, nobody can chase you in there. There are probably some very dodgy workarounds if someone faction swapped and then had their mates relocated them and then pushed them in there, then faction swapped back. You left up a few outposts in there. You might get a jump spot in there, but really no one's going to bother with that. Excuse me. So that's a kind of good and bad. You've then got to fight your way out, and you might think, well, if the enemy's got a whole bunch of, let's just go in here, if they've put up a whole bunch of forts on the opposite side to prevent you coming back in, then yeah, that's potentially a bit tricky. But equally, those people are probably, if they're on the rampage, going off somewhere else and have got 3 or 4 other of these islands that they need to sort of try and keep people penned into. So yeah, at some point you're going to be able to get back out again. And obviously, if you've still got people who have got resource tiles left out here, you can jump straight to them. So that also means that if you're invading a zone at all, you need to try and clear out every single resource tile within range of this. In fact, every single resource tile that the opposing faction has anywhere. So that can be quite a challenge, but that's how these games were originally intended and designed before Rise to War kind of, if you like, bastardized a whole bunch of them. There were reasons why those mechanics were there, and they made for really interesting and strategic gameplay rather than simple wallet warrioring. So that's why those islands are there. I hope that sort of makes a few things clearer to people. One other thing I've seen coming up that I want to just address is in the season progress rewards here. This green indicates that the progress was met within the allocated time and everybody got the gold for it. If you see it like this, it wasn't reached in the allocated time and nobody got the gold for it, and that thing there is still locked out. There have been a few reports from people saying on their servers that they didn't get the gold for meeting the objective, even when they sort of done it within the time frame. I'm not sure how much is in that. You do need to go back and double check. Did you do it within the time frame? If you didn't do it within the time frame given and complete the objectives, then you don't get the gold, and we certainly didn't manage that here. With our 24,000 enemy patrols defeated server-wide, it was about 4.8, but we've got seasoned players, and seasoned players who know about this are definitely not wasting their stamina on enemy patrols for the sake of 200 gold. The enemy patrol thing is something we've asked for some updates on. It seems ridiculous that you're going to have to tile out to them and hit them for very little reward. That's one thing that Rise to War certainly had done a lot better soon after the early days, where you didn't have to actually tile to a patrol, or as it was then to what were they? I can't even remember the name of them now. Rogues Bandit, something like that. That's probably Immortal Conquest. Played too many games like this. So yeah, hopefully that enemy patrols thing gets sorted out soon, and they're actually worth hitting, and they don't cost all your fuel to get there. One other thing, no bag end here, so you don't have a lobby as such. The team are working on it. Hopefully it'll be better than bag end. You do have cross-server invites, so if you want to go and play with friends, you can actually do that. That's possible. And while we're here, I'm just going to go and have a quick look at the battle pass. And obviously, some of these chapters are dicey. There's no reason for me to mine resources for 100 minutes this far into a season. They're all maxed out and will stay that way until we get some PvP in. We're not doing a lot of that at the moment in this server. This is sort of the first, if you like, of the servers. And it's pretty much done and dusted now. But you'll get some of these things come up here that just make no sense whatsoever. Another one would be spending X amount of titanium on building buildings. Well, most of them are maxed out by now. I think I left a few over for just simply to complete this battle pass, so I can go into my control and my infrastructure, and I'll probably have to build some stuff here, or just kind of find something big that I might have left to build, so that I can then actually got room to go and mine my resources rather than just simply scrapping strike craft in the bays and then rebuilding them. Oh look, we got one there, that'll take something up. Now I can go out and mine some titanium and actually achieve my battle pass. So there's some workarounds to do. Don't build everything at once is my advice at the moment, or you'll never complete your battle pass. Leave yourself a few buildings to build and you'll be fine. Just want to check what other mail have we got in. So we've got the Join the Nova social campaign there, so that's been announced in here. Fantastic. Everybody knows about it. Let's get in there. Let's get some free offices in 2 weeks time or whatever. We've also put out a few things to the team to sort of say, hey, look, it might be an idea to get people to go write a review in the various stores, the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, and give them 100 for that. Let's get the game trending in those stores and building up. And giving them a few other ideas for sort of some very quick win initiatives, maybe doing something in some of the Discords and so on, and just collecting player IDs for that. They really want to try and make this work, but we were all taken by surprise with the closure of Rise to War, and surprised at how quickly people have come over just to sort of get a feel for it. But it's a good thing. Get your mates in. Let's really rock this game. Thank you so much for watching. Really pleased to be here and doing this work. Kia ora, goodbye.